ก็ขอต้อนรับนะคะท่านผู้ปกครองทุกท่านนะคะวันนี้ก็ยินดีต้อนรับเข้าสู่งานอย่าเรียกว่างานเรียกว่าเป็นการบรรยายให้ความรู้ดีกว่านะคะวันนี้ก็เราก็ได้รับเกียรติจากคุณยัสมินซาวานะคะเป็น Exclusive Director จาก Cardiff College นะคะวันนี้ซึ่งให้เกียรติมาบรรยายเรานะคะในเรื่อง How to get into medical school in the UK นะคะซึ่งก็สำหรับวันนี้ถ้าผู้ปกครองท่านใดนะคะมีคำถามหลังจากบรรยายก็สามารถถามได้ไม่เฉพาะเกี่ยวกับการเข้า medical school นะคะเกี่ยวกับด้านสาขาวิชาอื่นยัสมินก็สามารถให้ความรู้ได้แต่ก็วันนี้หัวข้อหลักของเราเป็นเรื่องของ medical school นะคะค่ะก็ please welcome Miss Yasmin
Hello everyone, how's everybody? Right, I actually just arrived this morning, so a bit of a jet lag. Right, so my name is Yasmin Sarwar, I'm the Executive Director of Cardiff College. As you know, Cardiff College is ranked #1 in the UK for A-level results. They've been ranked by the Daily Telegraph and the Times, which is the most reputable league table sort of newspapers that produce the league tables. And I basically, in terms of medical school, because this talk is specifically for medicine, I sit in an interview panel for 2 top universities in the UK. About 2 years ago, I won the Best Science Year of the Tutor Award, and I received an award from David Cameron. And since then, I've been invited to sit as an interview panelist at 2 top UK universities, 2 top medical schools in London. So I've been part of that. I also assist my students with their UCAS application, in particular for medical students. So I think I know what I'm going to tell you. So hopefully that information you'll take on board and it'll help you in your UCAS, in your application to medical schools in the UK. Can I just ask from the students? No? Year 11s? Okay. Year 12s? Year 12s, right? Year 13? Probably shouldn't be anybody, but I didn't think year 13 you would have already applied to university. So, and the couple didn't put up their hands. So, are you below? Below year 11? Year 10. So below year 11. Any year below year 11. Okay. Okay. Cool. Right. So before I go on though, since the talk is specifically about medicine. Can I ask some of you why medicine? Anyone? Any volunteers? Yes, young man? Go.
You could save lives.
Save lives, okay. So you want to do medicine because you want to save lives? Anyone else? Why medicine? You might as well come out with the truth. The money does help. The prestige of being a doctor. Any other reasons to why medicine? Anyone else? Come on. I have my teacher hat on. I teach chemistry and biology. Well, I used to teach that. Since I've become the executive director, it's been quite difficult to teach as well as manage. But I have been teaching since the last 10 years. So, and any other? So I got my teacher's hat on today. Anyone else? Any other reasons to why medicine? How many of you want to do medicine? Put your hands up. Put your hands up, because I'm just going to select you now. Put your hands up. Hands up, right up. Come on, medicine. Medicine? Okay, young man, why medicine? Only because you're sitting in your friends.
So I chose medicine because I decided to save.
You want to save lives?
Make
The money, yes.
Money and health.
Yes.
to have a successful career.
You want to have a successful career, you want to make lots of money, and you want to save lives. Wow. All that, 3 in 1. Okay, so there's lots of reasons to why you want to do medicine. And sometimes, like I said, you know, saving lives, money. Maybe it's also your parents nudging you to go into medicine. You never know, these things do contribute to it. Before I start this, I just wanted to tell you this. That medicine, and I just said this to a student that I saw earlier on, and I tell this to my students all the time. Medicine is not just a career, it's a calling. It's a very noble profession. It's got to come from the heart. You are secondary. Everyone else comes first because you're giving your life for others. You are in service. You are in the greatest service of anything that you could do because it's a tough job. It's very fulfilling. It's very satisfying. It's very rewarding at the same time, I'm sure. But at the same time, it comes with lots of stresses. It comes with a lot of pressure, a lot of stresses. It's not just about academics, about, I thought, you know, if I had, it's the most challenging career I could go into because it's all about academics. It's very difficult to get in. So don't think of it like this. Think of it as it's a calling. It's really a calling. It's got to come from the heart. If it doesn't come from the heart, then don't do medicine. Regardless of what your parents say, they will always love you. Trust me, right? No matter what you go into, they might be annoyed with you if they really want you to go into medicine, but do it because you really, really want to do it. Because if you don't want to do it, then you're not going to be happy with that. So please, the parents might not like this, but please do what you want to do, because then only you will be happy with what you're doing, and you will do a very good job at it as well. So, so talking about that then, I'm going to give you, the talk is about breaking into top universities, and why the talk is about breaking into top universities, because it really comprises about medicine as well. Because in order to get into, there are 29 medical schools in the UK, and to get any of these medical schools, they're equally difficult. There are some which is obviously more popular than others, so places like Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial. When I say popular, they get more applications than other places, I suppose, but they're all equally difficult to get in. Okay, like I said to you just now, just to give you a breakdown of background of our college. These are results for the last 4 years. As I mentioned, we are ranked #1 in the UK for A-level results. This year we have 17 students who've been given offers for Oxford and Cambridge. Last year all our medical applicants were successful in their applications. We had 18 applications and all 18 had offers. So just to give you an idea about our track record and the information we're going to relay to you. Basically, the reason why I'm telling you this is because I would like you to know that what I'm going to tell you today is important, because we know what we're doing and we've been very, very successful in what we've been doing. So these are the top university guide for 2014 and 2013. These are the top 15 UK universities in 2013. Obviously, not all of them offer medicine. Can you, just as a quiz, a very quick quiz, can you tell me how many, can you name me a few medical schools? From that list, name me medical schools from that list. Imperial, okay. UCL. Why are we missing the top ones? Name me medical schools from this list. So which of these universities offer medicine? Cambridge, good. Oxford. You said Imperial before. UCL, what else? Bath doesn't offer medicine, no. Sorry? Sorry? Queen's Mary, yes, but that's not on the list. Yes, Queen's Mary. Where else? Durham, Newcastle offers medicine, yes. Sorry? York, Hull and York offers medicine, yes. Bristol offers medicine, yes. Where else? What about Warwick? Does Warwick offer medicine? Warwick does offer medicine, but it's graduate, not undergraduate. It's graduate only. medicine, yes. Where else? We're missing one more. Who can give me one more? One more, huh? Exeter, well done, yes. Exeter offers medicine. Okay, so not on this list then. So name me a few more. Where else offer medicine? Birmingham, Manchester, Nottingham, Liverpool, Southampton, KCL, Queen Mary, St. George's. There's loads of them. There's a whole list of all medical schools, okay? So we'll talk about selecting medical schools in a minute. How can you do it? So how do you get into these top universities? So, you obviously need to get, to those of you who are below year 11 or in year 11, you need to get top GCSE grades. The more A stars you get, the better your chances are in terms of getting into medical school. Now, why do I say in terms of A stars? There are some medical schools that even though in their prospectuses they don't specify the number of A stars they're looking for, but they prefer if you get a certain number. So for example, let's take Birmingham. Birmingham University would actually, it's not in their prospectus, I admit it, but if you trust our track record, then I can tell you that Birmingham actually won 6 A stars as a minimum criteria for meeting their GCSEs. Now, it's not in their prospectus. In their prospectus, they talk about Bs. You have to get Bs inside because they give you the minimum requirement. There's 2 types of requirements. One is minimum, one is threshold. So even though you meet the minimum requirement, doesn't mean that you meet the threshold requirement. So there are 2 requirements. Threshold requirements are based on the applicants who applied for that year, and they will look and see what is the basis for that particular year in terms of the competition. This is all about competition, okay? So minimum GCSEs very much depends. So what about other universities perhaps ask 5 A stars? Some universities don't look at GCSEs very much. So they don't put a heavy weighting on GCSEs. But some universities look at GCSEs a lot. So it depends on which universities you apply. Normally in our college, we have a strategy. We work out a strategy map for each of our students, so we know exactly which university they should be applying to that matches their profile. And that's what we do, and that's why we've been very successful in getting students into medical school because of the map, the strategy map that we work on there. So that's the top GCSE grades that you need to get. You obviously need to get good A-level results as well. Just an idea, what are the A-level results they're looking? What are A-level results that the university is looking at? What offers do you think they would make? Medical schools. What offers would you think? Any idea? A stars? How many A stars? 2 A stars, 1 A. Anything else? Do you think they'll ask for 3 A stars? Oh, this young boy is saying yes. How old are you?
30.
You're 13. So you'll be looking to go to A levels in 3 years time, 4 years time? Yes, they will definitely ask for 3 A stars by that time. I assure you. For now they're asking for, they ask for between A star, A, between 3 A's to A star, A. That's the range. 3 A's to A star, A. So some universities will just ask for 3 A's, some universities will ask for 1 A star, 2 A's, some universities will ask for 2 A stars, 1 A. It very much depends. But that's offer though. To meet the offer, to obtain an offer, you should be looking to get above 90% in your modules in your AS year. And that's the only way you're going to be called for an interview. So you really need to look at getting as high as possible, whether you're doing GCSEs or whether you're doing A levels. Medicine is so competitive because everyone who applies to medicine all have fantastic results. Very rarely you get an application who has a B or a C grade. And somebody who has a B or a C grade, they'll just basically go in the bin. And I can tell you this for a fact because, as I said to you, I was invited to be an interview panelist at the 2 top universities in London, 2 medical schools in London. And from what I gathered from my experience there is they're very quick in making the decisions. Very, very quick because they get so many applications. And the way, how they do it, they get all this pile of applications coming in. And their secretaries or their clerks or admissions assistants, what they will do is they'll look at the grades first. And if there's any sign of B grade or a C grade, guess where it goes? Where does it go? It goes to the last pile, which is never looked at afterwards. And that is the truth. That is the honest truth. So really the academic results is what they're looking at first and foremost. Okay, so you've got the A-level results. Then they're looking for work experience. Why work experience? Anyone can tell me why would you need to have some work experience in particular for a medical application? In fact, they're asking for work experience in any course, in any career these days. But why so much more particular for medicine?
They will judge that you love this, that you love that.
Right, they want to see whether you need to be able to demonstrate your passion that you really want to do this course, okay? I was in one of the interviews I did last year. We met this boy. Normally in an interview panel there's 3 of us, so myself and 2 other doctors. And one of the questions, the main question that's always asked is why medicine? And I asked you the same questions, why medicine? And some of you gave me the answers, saving lives, making money, and all that sort of things. Fair enough. Obviously you don't say making money in an interview. Please never say that. Okay? You will get a straight rejection if you say that. Sometimes you have to lie. Sorry. No, it's not a lie. It's just, it's just hiding the real truth. But never mind. So this question was asked, why medicine? Okay, the boy was asked, why medicine? And his answer was, I would like to do medicine because my father is a doctor, my mother is a doctor, my aunt is a pharmacist, my grandfather was a doctor, another aunt is a biochemist, and then the doctor who sat next to me, he said, oh, okay, fair enough, your whole family is in medicine, well done. But let me ask you again, why do you want to do medicine? And then the boy thought again, and then he said, yes, I want to do medicine because my father's a doctor, my mother is a doctor, my aunt is a pharmacist, my grandfather is a doctor. And then the doctor next to me said, okay, fair enough, we understand your whole family history is in medicine, that's brilliant. And then he tried to change the question slightly around, and he tried to change the question in the sense that, okay, let me tell you something, I have 3 children. My kids hate the fact that I'm a doctor because I'm never around. I'm always on the go, I'm always very busy, I have patients, I have cases, I have so many things to do. So why do you want to do medicine? Having seen your parents go through all this, why do you want to do medicine? The doctor was trying to help him to come with an answer. So then he thought again, this time 2 minutes. He took 2 minutes this time to think. And his reply was, I want to do medicine because my father's a doctor, my mother is a doctor, my aunt is a biochemist, my grandfather is this and that, and we just left it then. So what do you think? Do you think he was accepted, or what do you think the outcome of his application was? Rejected, yes. It was a very straightforward case. He was rejected, although on paper he was fantastic. Brilliant student, fantastic results, fantastic reference. He was from Mauritius and he had even seen the president for some award. How better could you get? You met the president of your country. He was fantastic on paper, but yet at interview it all faltered because he was not able to show passion and he was not able to demonstrate any evidence that he had that passion to do that particular course. And work experience is one way to be able to show passion. In particular, if you're applying to a British medical school, if you are studying in the UK, if you're studying in the UK and you have medical work experience in the UK, it would really it would be in your favor to do so because you'll be able to demonstrate some experience working with the NHS. Anyone knows about NHS? Do you know what the NHS is? NHS. So if you're aiming to study in the UK and you don't know what NHS is, you are in serious trouble because you are training in an NHS environment. Students, do you know NHS? Okay, those of you in year 12, I expect you to have at least some knowledge. Those of you in year 12, do you know what NHS stands for? Yes? National Health Service. Yes, good. So, if you have work experience in the NHS system, it would be in your beneficial and it will give you the edge over others when you're applying to university. We as a college, we have secured 3 placements with 3 different hospitals in the UK, and we provide work experience for our students because we feel that it's really important for their UCAS application, for the university application. So we work with 3 hospitals. We're increasing it to 5 hospitals next year. So hopefully that would be sort of gaining more placements. So work experience is very important. Okay, extracurricular activities. Give me examples of, before we go on that, talking back on work experience, right? I have students who come back from work experience. I had a boy who came back from working in a GP. GP is a general practitioner. So working with a GP, and he came back and he said to me, Mrs. Sarwar, it was so boring. I said, what do you mean it was boring? I didn't get to do much. All I was doing is I was just watching the doctor. So I turned around to him and I said, what did you expect to do? Cut up a patient, do a surgery, prescribe medicine? You are not qualified. You are there to observe. So even if they ask you to make tea and coffee, you make the tea and coffee because you are there as an intern, okay? Because it's work experience, W-O-R-K, work. You're not there, it's not ER, emergency room, it's not Grey's Anatomy, where it's all going to be all exciting, and you're going to be in an ER, and all these movies are rubbish. The TV programs are rubbish, they don't tell you the reality. Yeah, how many of you watch Grey's Anatomy? Do you watch Grey's Anatomy? You don't? You don't watch Grey's Anatomy? Do you get that? You must get that here, right? Grey's Anatomy? Do you watch House? No? Are there any medical programs you watch, even if it's just fiction? Non-fiction? No? They're not? Okay, well then there's no point talking about that. And in the UK, the kids watch programs like House and Grey's Anatomy. You can check on the YouTube if you like. Like House is the best program in terms of TV program. House is the only one that's really a little bit, it reflects a little bit about what medicine is like. But they're all rubbish. They don't tell you the reality of being a doctor. So, so if you're going to this work experience, don't expect to be doing much. You're just there to observe, to learn. Even sometimes, I had a girl who went to one of our placements that we arranged for her, and the patient came in, and I know this patient very well. The patient came in, and the doctor asked this patient, I have a student here from Cardiff College on work experience placement. Are you happy for the student to sit down and observe you whilst I treat you? And the patient said, no, I am not willing for that. I do not want that. And my student actually went up to her and said, it's okay, ma'am, don't worry, I will leave the room, but if it's possible, if I can just have a chat about how you are and sort of thing later on after you've done the treatment, please let me know. However, if you don't feel comfortable, I'm happy with that as well. She was very polite, very confident in the way she spoke to this lady, and she walked out of the room. She left the room as obviously she was respecting the patient confidentiality. And then after the patient finished from the session she had with the doctor, she left the room, she walked out into the waiting room, and she actually called the student and said, yes, I'm happy to have a chat with you now. And how I know who this person is, the person who, the reason why I know this story is because the lady in this question was actually my mother. And she went to the doctors, and the student was there, and she came back and she said to me, what a nice girl, that just felt so comfortable talking to her and feeling that, and that's what you can do during your work experience, talking to patients, talking to doctors, learning all about the structures and the confidentiality, patient consent, all the medical ethics that you need to learn to go with it as well. So going to extracurricular activities, anyone can tell me what are give me examples of extracurricular activities. Sports, yes. Music, arts, yes, they are all brilliant. Now I'm sure all of you here, watching you guys here, right? Yeah, I'm sure you're all doing some sort of extracurricular activities, right? Right? You all maybe playing music, playing the piano until grade 8. Maybe you are doing sports, because I'm originally from Malaysia, and I tell you that this part of the world, our parents do make us work very hard. I think from a very young age, we are, and our poor parents, because they have to be taxi drivers for the children, they take you for lots of different classes and activities and so on, and you must thank your parents because of them, you have those skills that make you as a person. You have those leadership skills, teamwork skills, and all these skills are very, very crucial for when you're applying for universities. So extracurricular activities are very, very important. However, there's a twist. When you reach A-level stage, extracurricular activities are not as so much important as supercurricular activities. And supercurricular is a term introduced by Oxford and Cambridge. It's actually a term they really like a lot. But let me put it to you this way. If I'm interviewing you as a medical admissions tutor, I'm really not concerned about the fact that you can play piano at grade 8, or you play football for national level, or you even swim for the Commonwealth or the Olympics. That really doesn't bother me as much, because all I'm concerned about is, do you really want to do medicine? Do you know everything about medicine? Do you have the skills to be a doctor? What evidence can you demonstrate that you're aware of what's happening around you, particularly in the medical field? That's what I'm concerned about more. I'm not really concerned about the fact that you have grade 8 piano. That's fantastic. That means you're well-disciplined, you are creative. That's all makes you a person. That's what your individuality, your personality is. But it doesn't tell me whether you'll be a great doctor in the future, or whether I can teach you, because the people who interview you are going to be your teachers. And as much as you want to come to their school or their medical school, they also want to recruit the best students, because they will have to work with the students. So there's a two-way process. So the supercurricular activities at A-level stage becomes far more important than extracurricular activities, and that's something that in our college we very much encourage students to do. Okay, so how to get into top universities? There are 6 steps, students, of how you should, if you want to get into top universities, what are the steps? The first thing you have to do is they will look at your GCSE grades. The more A stars you get, the better. So if you're in year 11, please, you have exams coming up, right? Year 11? You should have exams coming up, right? Or is it different? No, GCSE is the same time as GCSE. So you should be working very hard to get your results. If you're in year 10 and you're lazy, then please start working hard, because if you don't get the A stars, your chances of getting into a good university is not there. And plus, you won't be able to apply to some universities because they have a heavy weighting on the GCSE results. The second step is your AS module results. You need to get above 90% in each module in your AS results, because the AS results is what the universities will see. So 90% is and above. By the way, if you think that's unachievable, that's not true. My chemistry class, half the year, in fact, forget chemistry, half the year last year had 90% and above. So, you know, it's not unachievable. You just have to have a strategy, basically a good strategy of how to achieve 90% and above in each module. Okay, your predicted A-level results. Your predicted A-level results really, and this is where some schools, those of you in year 12, you need to listen to this carefully, because there are some schools that predict you on the basis of what they feel that you should be predicted, or sometimes it could be parents' pressure, sometimes it's you are pressuring your teachers and so on. However, the universities have cracked the formula, and the formula is very simple. If your AS, if you don't get a 90% and above, if you have 90% and above in your AS, you're predicted an A star. 80% and above, an A. Does that make sense? Very simple formula. So, if you are getting 80% in your AS and your teachers are predicting you A star, the university will not trust your teacher's reference, because there's a simple formula. It's very simple, very straightforward. 90% and above, A star. 80% and above, A. 70%, B. Below 70%, forget applying to medicine. Or even actually below 80%, you can forget applying to medicine. Okay? Right? So 90% is based on your AS test results. So your teachers may be predicting you an A star without working on this formula. If you do that, then the university will certainly, unless there were extenuating circumstances, unless your teachers strongly feel that you could get an A star, but perhaps in AS year, something happened or whatsoever, but really it doesn't wash, honestly, it doesn't wash down the universities. You can put as many extenuating circumstances in as you want, but universities really, although they say they will take into account, from my experience working with these universities and putting my kids through university applications, it really doesn't matter. They don't really look at extenuating circumstances unless it's something where it's affected all your results. So, for example, if there's a death in the family and that's affected all your results, fair enough. But hypothetically, your biology, you're 90% and above. Your chemistry, 80%. I mean, that doesn't make sense. You cannot put extenuating circumstances for one subject and not for the other. Do you get what I'm saying? So you have to be very careful there. But some schools tend to just predict on whatever reason, and that becomes a problem. Okay? So, but for the year 11s and below year 11s, this is how it will work. Very simple. Okay, talking about personal statements. Personal statements are very, very crucial because that's what the universities will read about you. Just to give you some tips about your personal statement. For the year 12s, do you know what is the character limit? Or how many lines are you allowed? Year 12s, put your hands up again. Just one? I'm sure there were more. Don't hide now. Two. Only 2 year 12s. I'm sure there were more. Are the boys hiding? Only the 2 girls put their hands up. Okay. Well, have you started on your personal statements? No. Not even the first paragraph? You started the first paragraph. Are you in the same school, both of you? Which school is that? Harrow. You started on the first paragraph? Okay, what have they told you so far? In terms of personal statement, how many characters, how many word limit? 4,000 characters with spaces, without spaces? With spaces, yeah. And how many lines? 27 lines, okay? So your personal statement is very, very important. Please make sure you're writing the personal statement yourself and don't let someone else to write it for you. Never use an internet template. Do not plagiarize. Plagiarism is a huge, huge, huge thing in UK, and they have plagiarism software. You know, they've spent a lot of money on plagiarism software, so please don't try to attempt to copy someone else's personal statement. In fact, it's so serious that even if you copied a phrase, just a phrase, right, they could detect that. So don't try to copy anything on the internet, and don't try to copy someone's application that's only submitted to UCAS, because they can just check that. Yeah, plagiarism is very serious. Now, your personal statement obviously should have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Okay, this is something that's if you're not, don't try to make your personal statement funny or jokes if that's not who you are. Because don't try to be someone else. Just be you. Okay? There's no need to put any quotes unless you are comfortable with the quotes. And don't try to be funny or make jokes. Basically. Do not write in bullet points, of course. Think twice about using quotes. Most semesters have seen them before. Always give details of your work experience placements. So, for example, if you worked in Bangkok Hospital or Bangkok International Hospital, make sure you say Bangkok Hospital. Don't just say I worked at a hospital. Okay? So you should mention, you have to specify where you have worked. Now the duration of your work, you should specify the duration as well. If you have spaces, you should specify the duration. If you work for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatsoever, and so on. But remember, if you have NHS experience, that is the best in terms of applying to medical school in the UK. Get the balance right between academic and extracurricular details. This is where the super curricular comes on board, and really super curricular is 75% of your application of your personal statement, and extra should be 25% of your personal statement. So 75 and 25. So super is far more important for the university admission rather than the extra. Okay. Remember that anything you choose to put in your personal statement could be discussed in an interview. And talking about that, please don't lie. Don't lie. If you're not a football player, don't say you're a football player. Okay? Please. Now, I had a boy at one of the university who came in who said in his personal statement, I play football, right? And I play football at national level, school level, something like that, school level, and I won lots of competitions, blah, blah. That's what he wrote in his personal statement. So the doctor who was sat next to me, he said to him, so you play football, who do you support? So the boy said Arsenal or Liverpool or something like that. And then he said, tell me what position do you play? And the boy just looked at him saying, what position? And he was trying to make up something, and then the doctor realized that he's lying, okay? Then the whole interview became about football, because they were trying to catch him out. So there's nothing about his work experience, nothing about anything else, it was all about football, because I was just looking at, it was just a conversation between both of them, because there were two ladies, me and another doctor, a female doctor, and then there was this male doctor, who was in the interview panel, and it became a conversation between the student and the male doctor, all about football. Because he realized that this boy had lied on his personal statement, and therefore he was asking him all these questions about football, and the boy just couldn't, he was answering some, but the others he was just like sort of fumbling, So please don't lie, because if you don't, even if you do anything that you do, and even if you like reading comics, and that is your hobby, reading comics, write it down. At least it's the truth, okay? Right, so write that down, okay? But obviously try not to make it a point that you read comics all the time, because it might not look very good, okay? Do not mention one specific course that you have applied for. All the selectors from different universities will see the same personal statement. So don't say in your personal statement, I really want to come to Cambridge. I really want to go to Cambridge, because guess what? Bristol, Birmingham, Manchester will reject you straight away, okay? Right, so don't specify the university, and don't also mention one specific course. So for example, this is obviously if you apply for medicine and your fifth option, let's say your fifth option, you apply for pharmacy, that's a bit tricky because you can't say I want to be I want to be a doctor as well as a pharmacist. So you have to be a little bit generic there. But if pharmacy is just your backup, then you should be writing more about medicine and leave out pharmacy in that case. Going back to remember that anything you choose to put in your personal statement could be discussed in an interview. Please keep a copy of your personal statement, because you will need that before you go for your interview. So keep a copy of what you've written. Okay. Okay, so the next thing is reference from teachers. So your teachers are very important people. Be nice to them. Be nice to your parents and be nice to your teachers. Very important people in your lives. Okay. So your reference again, your teachers will have to write your reference and the university will score. All these sections are scored. University will be scoring all these sections. So reference, another thing that the universities will be scoring. How to write a reference? Well, I don't have to discuss that here because none of you here are teachers. So, but I've seen some very good reference and I've seen some very dismal references. When I say dismal, I don't mean the teachers talking anything bad about the student, because they all talk good about the student, but it's dismal in the sense it's got nothing to do with what the universities are looking for in terms of what a reference should be. So some references are fantastic, it tells the university exactly what they're looking for, and some are very, very dismal. So it depends on the teacher's experience of writing it. The next thing is university entrance exam. There are a couple of university entrance exams that you have to take into account. So BMAT, LNAT, UKCAT, TSA Staff, ELAT. But these are all different courses. For you guys, is BMAT and UKCAT. Okay. At the college, we provide training for this, so it's in the curriculum. On a weekly basis, we train them for BMAT and UKCAT for medicine in particular. And they are tough. They are tough, because they're outside the confines of the curriculum and they are there to test your lateral thinking skills. Some universities with very heavy weighting on them. So just to give you an idea, there are 4 universities that ask for BMAT. Do you know which 4 are there? Oxford, Cambridge, UCL, Imperial. They ask for BMAT. What about UK CAT? UK CAT is everywhere else, all the other universities except for Bristol, Birmingham, Liverpool. They don't ask for UK CAT, and also Peninsula, Plymouth doesn't ask for UK CAT for international students as well. Edinburgh doesn't call for interview, so Edinburgh is the only one that doesn't call for interview. All the other universities will ask for an interview for medicine. So that's step 6. Again, they will score that depending on what your results are in BMAT. Some universities place heavy weighting on BMAT. Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial, UCL. Imperial, for example, places a heavier weighting on BMAT compared to UCL. Okay? Next thing, so basically if you work out your scores, it has 6 steps. So what was step 1? Step 1 was GCSE. Step 2, 90% and above in your AS. Step 3, predicted results. And I told you the formula, what the university's formula are. The 4th one will be personal statement. The 5th one is reference. And the 6th is university entrance exam. So each section is scored, and if you, depends on what your scores are, if you match the minimum threshold level, you will then be called on to the next stage. Guess what is the next stage? If you meet the threshold level. So what I mean by threshold is, if the threshold level for that particular year is 25 out of 30, as long as you get 25 out of 30, you'll move on to the next level. What is the next level? Interview. It's like playing a video game. So you have to go from level 1 to level 2 to level 3. You just have to move the levels. Okay, so you get to interview then. Right. So, what do you think they'll ask you in an interview? Any questions? So, by the way, if you don't meet, just going back again, sorry, if you don't meet the threshold, so if you don't, where's this going? If you don't meet the threshold level, some universities, sometimes, even if you don't meet the threshold level, they will still call you for interviews. Some universities may do so. Majority of the universities, if you don't meet the threshold level, you will get a rejection. And that will be based on all the steps I talked to you about. Your academic performance, your personal statement, reference, and so on. Does that make sense? Yeah? Now, some universities will just look at academic, don't look at personal statement or reference until the interview stage. So there's difference with different universities. So some universities will look at all the steps minus reference, minus personal statement until the interview. So they'll call you for an interview and then they'll look at your personal statement. Some universities will go through all the 6 steps, and if you don't meet the criteria, they will reject you. If you don't meet their threshold level. Okay? Any questions so far before we move on to level 2, the next level? Yes?
What are universities looking for in the teacher references?
Sorry, what are the universities?
Looking for in the teacher references?
What are the universities looking for in teachers' references? You're going to go and ask your teachers to write this, is it? I'm suspicious. I'm being suspicious now. Okay. What are the universities looking for in a teacher's reference? It's very simple. If I'm saying you are, if you want to do medicine, then as a colleague, because obviously we are colleagues, they are university lecturers, we are school lecturers, right? So as colleagues, they want to know, why would I recommend this student to be a doctor? Why do I think this student, what evidence can I show that the students can be a good doctor? The problem with references are, it's no longer personalized. Especially if you have students applying from schools where it's copy and paste, and I've seen that so many times. I never saw that before until I was invited to be an interview panelist, and I was going through all these references, and I then realized how unpersonalized these references are, because they're very much the same. They're talking the same things about everybody, and that's very difficult. So I realized that that could be a problem at our college. So what I've done is we have a house system. We have 4 houses, okay? It's named after Greek gods. So each house system has 3 or 4 tutors in each house system. And these 3 or 4 tutors in each house system has to meet the kids and talk to them about their ambition, about their aim, about their personal qualities, about things they've done, and on that basis they have to write their references. That is the best way that for my students, I can make it personalized. Otherwise, it's very hard, because the university admission tutors are doing the same thing over and over again. Saying you're excellent is not good enough. Saying that you're good is not good enough, because to me, that's, as an admissions tutor, as somebody been involved in the interview panelist, I feel that from what I gathered from the other panelists as well, they're not looking for that. They're looking for you as a person, as a colleague. What do you see in this child, or what do you see in this student that makes you think that he or she can be a good doctor? And that's very hard to write. That's very hard to write, because teachers write school reports based on subjects. Yeah, but they very seldom link their subjects to medicine. Okay, so I give you an example. Okay, so maths subject, right? What I would write, or what my teachers would write in their reference about maths is, she has a very clinical approach to the way she is when she's dealing with her problems. So we link everything to medicine, and that's how we put it down, basically. Okay. Any other questions before we move on to the next stage? No? Yes.
Is biology necessary something?
Biology, chemistry is a must. Biology is preferred. I would say yes, do biology, because almost all universities, even though it's not a compulsory subject for medicine, they do want the students to do it. In fact, I would say the best combinations are maths, chemistry, biology, and the 4th one can be anything. Yeah? Any other question? When I say the 4th one can be anything, still do tier 1. Don't do tier 2 subjects. Tier 2 or tier 3 subjects are art and design, drama, media studies. These are tier 2 to tier 3 subjects. So don't combine maths, chemistry, biology with media studies or art and design. If you're doing DT, or if you're doing art and design as a subject, that's okay. But for medicine, it's a tier 2 or tier 3. But if you're doing a different degree, that art and design is fine. There's nothing wrong with art and design. It's just for medicine, it's not. And plus, you won't have the time anyway with art and design to be able to do your maths, chemistry, biology as well. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, so next stage now. So as soon as we got this through this stage, we will look at interviews now. Okay, so what kind of questions do you think they'll ask at interview? So why medicine? Yes? What kind of person you are? That's quite a difficult question, isn't it? How would you answer that? What kind of person you are? Overall. They're not going to segment it. So how would you answer that? What kind of person you are? You'll ask them, what do they mean? Okay, right. No, I don't know. Look, interviews are not there to scare you. The interviews are not there to frighten you. They're really normal people, and they just want to know you because you are going to be their student, prospective student. They want to get to know you. They want to get to understand you. So they're not there. Don't be frightened with interviews. Okay, they're actually there. I mean, I've been in the interview. I was just telling Krutu earlier on that I've been in an interview panel for 2 universities. One I found harder than other. One I found a bit harsh. But generally the interviews are very nice. But they obviously want to know whether you will fit into their environment, okay? So don't worry about the interview process as much. Just be yourself and be confident. But what kind of questions they're going to ask you? So why medicine? What else? Yes?
How do you deal with stress?
How do you deal with stress? Okay, so how would you answer that? How do you deal with stress?
Exercise.
Exercise. Okay, let me put this to you, right? Yeah? They won't ask you how do you deal with stress. This is what they'll ask you. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Your patient just died. You come back home. What are you gonna do? What will you do? Yeah? They might put it in that way. It's about dealing with stress, but it's another way of asking you that question, okay? What else? What else would they ask you? Any other volunteers? Come on. No? Any other questions? Do you think they'll ask you? What about, do you think they'll ask you scientific questions? Do you think they'll ask you scientific questions? Yes? So what, such as what? What scientific questions do you think they'll ask you? How many planets are there? How do we build a dam? What scientific questions will they ask you? Any idea? Yes. Okay, good. Example of diseases. Yes, that's right. In our college, we run what we call a healthcare diploma, and our former students, they come back every week and they will train our students in all these things. So, for example, diabetes, about diseases, cancer, lots of different things. You know, they'll be training our students in those things. And the beauty of the course is this, of the question is this. If they ask you about diseases, if they ask you about diabetes and so on, they would expect you to know even if it's not in your syllabus. They would expect you to know about it. They can also ask you medical ethics question. So, let me put you a question this, okay? If you have a patient who comes to your clinic or to your hospital and for religious reasons refuses blood transfusion, how do you deal with that patient? What would you do? Any answers? That's a difficult question to ask, really. And then again, you have to answer that, okay? So medical ethics is one aspect. Scientific question, another aspect. Your ethics, your involvement with your teamwork is another question. You know, I had a student from one of the interview. I had a girl from Singapore here for an interview, and the question was asked. This was a question that was posed to her. So you're in a clinic, and you had an emergency at the hospital. You had to rush to go to the hospital. You have so many patients outside your clinic. They're still waiting for you. What do you do? What would you do? So you are, I repeat the question. So you are at a clinic. You have many patients waiting for you outside, but you have to rush for an emergency at the hospital. What would you do? Any ideas? Well, how would you answer that question? How would you answer that question? Anyone? Okay, the question is this. So you're running a clinic and you received a call from the hospital. You have to rush to the hospital because you have an emergency. What would you do with your patients who are waiting outside? There are like 20 patients outside. Yes. So you're going to say, excuse me, someone's going to die. You don't know that. You're assuming that they're going to die, okay? So, excuse me, someone's going to die. I have to go and see this person, this patient. Okay, right? Okay, fair enough. That's it. You'll just walk away. So you will say, excuse me, somebody's going to die. I'm going to go and see them right now. Maybe I'll come back, okay? That's a nice way, okay, so I will rush off, maybe I'll come back, you can wait here until that happens, right?
Probably let my assistants give an outline
So you will ask your assistants, your nurses to deal with the patients. Okay. You will ask your, huh? So if there's something urgent, your nurses can call you to come back, even though you have an emergency in the hospital, and then you have another emergency in the clinic. You have to be in two places at the same time. Ask for advice on the phone. Okay? Any other answer? I'll be very impressed if you can get this right, yes. So the hospital will deal with which patient? The one that's in emergency or the ones at the clinic? But you won't know until you get there, right? So you still have to leave your patients behind at the clinic. Yes?
Put another doctor or specialist on board of your patient.
Well done. Excellent. Brilliant. That is the answer they were looking for. Right? That's the answer I'm looking for. You call your colleagues to come. That is showing teamwork. That is demonstrating teamwork. That means you're not a control freak. Yes, you want to work with people. You have a team. You call your colleagues to come and help you. That's the answer they're looking for. Okay? Yeah? Well done. Can we give them a round of applause? That's very good. Now, the student from Singapore, this girl, unfortunately, what she said was she would leave them and go to the emergency because it's an emergency, okay? Now, as soon as she walked out of the interview room, the first thing the panelist doctor said to two of us is that she doesn't know teamwork. She's not a team player. You see, and therefore, we're not going to give her an offer. She's not demonstrating team play. So all these things, do you see how they ask the questions? They don't just ask you, demonstrate teamwork. Demonstrate, show us evidence of leadership. Show us evidence of, they don't just ask you that. That's too easy. They'll put scenarios to you. And you have to think how you will deal with the scenarios. They'll put role plays. There are even universities where they'll have role plays. So imagine I'm the doctor and the patient will be acting out the scenario. You have to come and deal with that situation. So there are role plays. There are even mini multiple interviews. Do you know what mini multiple interviews are? Anyone can tell me what mini multiple interviews are? Have you heard of speed dating? Well, you shouldn't hear about speed dating. You shouldn't hear that. But do you know what speed dating is? Yes? What are they? Yeah? Yes. Next, okay. So many multiple interviews is the same concept like speed dating, okay? You shouldn't hear about what speed dating is, but you will have lots of different stations in the room. So let's say you'll have 10 stations in the room. You will go to each station. Each station you will have 5 minutes to answer. They'll ask you a question. You have 5 minutes to answer the question. The bell rings, you move on to the next station. And you keep doing that until you've completed the whole circuit. And that's a mini multiple interview. That's one style. So you have role play, you have mini multiple, you have one-to-one interviews. Oxford and Cambridge are one-to-one interviews, and they're quite tough because one-to-one is very intense. And the next type will be 3-to-1. 3-to-1, as I explained to you, there will be 3 panelists in the room, so that's 3-to-1. They could also be 5-to-1. 5-to-1 normally includes medical students. They'll include medical students in the interview process as well, current medical students. So you have different types of interviews of how they will run. There are also group interviews. Do you know what happens in group interviews? So group interviews will be 5 applicants sitting together, and they'll pose some questions to you. And what do you think they're looking for in a group interview? Yes? Discussion skill, teamwork.
And how they arrive.
How they arrive at a conclusion. And also,
personal performance.
yes, but group interviews are quite tough. You know why? Because you want to make it, yes, go?
Because most of the time people argue.
People are what?
Most of the time people argue with each other, so it's easier to make your decision one way. Make the whole group give this.
Yeah, yourself stand, you want to stand out from the group, but at the same time, you don't want to look like you're bossing or you are, not giving other people opportunities. So group interviews are very difficult. You have to be able to listen. Very important. Listening skills are as important as speaking skills. You have to be able to listen, you have to be able to speak, you have to be able to observe, you have to be able to do all those things in a group interview. So some universities do group interviews, some universities do multiple interviews, some universities do 1-to-1, some universities do 5-to-1, some universities do 3-to-1. Majority universities are using 3-to-1 method. Okay, 3-to-1 method. Those are the majority of universities would do. Right, so just to give you a few more tips. So never be late, obviously, for your interview. Dress smartly, do not try to be nervous, keep calm, shake hands with the interviewers and introduce yourself. Make sure it's a firm shake, okay? Speak clearly, maintain eye contact. Your body language has to be very important. Don't put your elbows on the table, right? You have to sit straight up. Body posture, very important. Go for some yoga classes before your interview, some Pilates classes, you improve your core strength, inner core strength, right? Make sure you know the details of the specific course. Read the prospectus beforehand. Talking about that, let me ask you a question. So, where's the year 12? Year 12, which universities are you looking to apply to? Just name me one. Name me one university you're looking to apply to. Bristol. Okay, so imagine I'm your admissions tutor at Bristol. Okay? Why would you like to come to Bristol? Why would you like to come to my university? Because it has very good scientific research. Okay? Good location. They have what? Very good facilities. Okay. Well, good answer. Well done. Good answer. However, I would have heard that answer thousands and thousands and thousands of times because everyone says that. Yes.
What about if you say because you have a uniqueness unlike any other?
But if you're going to say that, what is the uniqueness? Okay. If you're going to say Bristol is different, if you're going to say it's different, you have to tell me in what way it's different. Let me tell you one of my students who went to Liverpool. Okay? Liverpool University. And this boy had an offer from Liverpool. The question was put down, why do you want to come to Liverpool University? And my student, who is from Malaysia, he went, he's from Botswana. He said in his interview, I want to come to Liverpool because of your tropical medicine center. And then the interviewer said, oh, why? Because he said, well, I'm from Botswana. I'm going to go back to Botswana. I practice in Botswana. And in Botswana, I have to be able to know tropical medicine. And your university offers tropical, you're renowned for tropical medicine, okay? The admission tutor was blown off. He was like, wow. This boy has really done his research about the university. And then the interviewer said to him, let me challenge him a little bit more. So, why do you think Liverpool offers tropical medicine? I mean, we're in Liverpool, in the UK. Why do you think it offers tropical medicine? Anyone knows why Liverpool has a tropical medical center? Anyone knows? No? Want to make a guess? Why Liverpool? Why? Did they just think about tropical medicine just like that, or yes? Very good. Nearly there. There is a port. Yes. And if you look at historically the history of Liverpool, there were lots of immigrants coming on to Liverpool and using this port, right? And that's why, if you go back years and years ago, they built the tropical medical center to be able to deal with any diseases that were coming from other countries, because there were lots of immigrants coming in using the port, basically. They were coming on to Liverpool, and therefore they needed to know, they needed to learn the medical diseases, and that's why they built a medical tropical institute in Liverpool. So when this interviewer asked my student, why do you think we have a tropical institute in Liverpool? And that's what he said. He talked about the history of Liverpool. You know, and that is fantastic. That's different. That is sort of thing. I mean, to be honest with you, we have a doctor, a GP doctor on site in our college who provides health care for our students. And he graduated from Liverpool and he runs a medical society. So before this boy went on to his interview, he said to him, if they ask you this question, this is the way you answer. So he was, the interviewer was very impressed with the answer, and he had an offer. I mean, he had an offer because obviously he was very good in other things as well, but I'm just giving an example of how to answer that question. Why the university? So do the research. Don't just say it's unique. If it's going to say unique, how is it unique? If you're going to say it has fantastic facilities, how is it different from other places' facilities? You have to be very, very specific. Research, research, research. Very important, okay? Be prepared to talk about any of the details you put in your personal statement. Be honest. Keep your answers reasonably brief. Know when to stop talking. Okay, there was a girl that came from Hong Kong. No, not from Hong Kong. From Singapore. Another student from Singapore at the interview. And she was asked these questions. And the student kept on going on and on until the admission tutor had to tap. They had to tap on the table so that she gets the message to stop. So eye contact, look at the body language. Very, very important to understand when you have to stop and move on. It's very crucial. Right, look at and answer the interviewer speaking to you. If you have 3 panelists, okay, the person who is asking you the question, look at them directly, but move your head from time to time so that you also see the other interviewers. Don't ignore them, but look directly at the person who's asking you the question, but move your head. It's difficult when you have 5 people, okay? That becomes a problem, but normally with 3 you should be okay. Don't feel you have to ask questions at the end. It's fine to say that you have all the information that you need. Don't feel like you have to ask a question at the end, okay? And please, don't ask questions like, so what's your accommodation like? You know what they'll say to you? Read the prospectus, go and see. We are from the department, we're not from the central admissions team. We don't know about accommodation, okay? Don't ask them about accommodation, don't ask them about what are the social activities. They don't know. They're there to teach you. They have no clue what goes on in the accommodation or in the sort of thing. Don't ask them those questions, okay? If you want to ask them about their research, be careful, make sure you know about their research, because that could come back and bite you. Be enthusiastic even if the university is not your first choice. I had a boy at our college who applied for pharmacy. He already had all his offers, and I think Brighton was his last interview, but he already had all his offers. But his father said, oh, go to Brighton, just for experience, you know, just day out, go to Brighton. He didn't want to go to Brighton, he already had the offer that he wanted. Anyway, he went to Brighton, he sat down, they asked him, why do you want to come to Brighton? His answer was, well, I didn't really want to come, but my father said I should come, and sort of thing. He was rejected. But the point is, be enthusiastic, even if it's not, because you never know. For medicine, it's very easy to get no offers, 0 offers. It's very easy to get 1 offer. What I'm saying, it's very easy to get 0 offers. Okay, you can go from 0 to 4. Yeah, it's very, very easy. It's 0 to 4. So you could get no offers. So please be enthusiastic, even if the university is not your first choice. Okay, just in case, because you may be aiming to Cambridge, but if you don't get to Cambridge, any medical school, all medical schools are good enough. They're very, very difficult to get in. And to be honest with you, you have to decide, is the aim to be a doctor or the aim is the university? Because if you want to go to Cambridge, you can get into classical civilization course. You can apply classical civilization, you can apply for ancient Greek. You don't have to do medicine. But if the aim is to be a doctor, then it shouldn't matter which university you go to. Okay? Be polite and thank the interviewers for seeing you as well. That's very important. Okay, so those are the 6 steps. And then they will add all your scores. And again, if you meet the threshold level, then you will get 2 scenarios if you meet the threshold level, okay? So the 2 scenarios are, you will get 2 types of envelopes. One is A4 size and one is a small, what's that, the B5 size. I think it's called B5, the smaller version. One is the A4 and one is that. What do you think the A4 will say? What do you think the B5 will say? What will be in the A4 envelope? Dear student, I'm pleased to inform you that you have been accepted. You have been given a place with this offer, A star, A star, A, and this is your pack. Please read through it, and we hope to see you in September. That's going to be an A4 size. B5 or B4, whatever. Dear student, due to the number of applicants, the increased number of applicants who applied this year, we have very strong competition. And unfortunately, although your application was good, we are unable to make you an offer. Good luck in your studies. Thank you very much. That's what's going to happen. You will have 2 different type of envelopes that you will receive if you meet the threshold level. I've just given it away, right? So if you get a B4 envelope, don't even open it. There's no point. Although saying that though, these days they send it by email as well. So, you know, but it used to be, you know, in the post you would get the envelopes, but now they'll send you by email, so you can't, you know, there's no way of escaping it. Okay, so that's it. But before we do that, I would like to talk about the type of medical schools and how do you select medical schools. Right, so what medical schools are you? So there are different types of medical schools. You have integrated style of teaching. So you've got to look at different ways of selecting medical school. One is the type of schools and the type of teaching they do. So there's integrated, there's problem-based learning, and there's system-based learning. So what is traditional type of learning? Do we have another board here? Can I borrow the board? Oh, can I use that? So we have traditional type of learning, we have problem-based learning, and we have integrated learning. So what is traditional type of learning? Anyone can tell me? Introduce yourself. Make sure it's a firm shake, okay? Speak clearly, maintain eye contact. Your body language has to be very important. Don't put your elbows on the table, right? You have to sit straight up. Body posture, very important. Go for some yoga classes before your interview, some Pilates classes, you know, you improve your core strength, inner core strength, right? Make sure you know the details of the specific course. Read the prospectus beforehand. Talking about that, let me ask you a question. So, where's the year 12s? Year 12s, which universities are you looking to apply to? Just name me one. Name me one university you're looking to apply to. Bristol. Okay, so imagine I'm your admissions tutor at Bristol, okay? Why would you like to come to Bristol? Why would you like to come to my university? Because it has very good scientific research, okay?
It's a good location.
Good location.
State-of-the-art facilities.
They have what?
Very good facilities.
Very good facilities. Okay. Well, good answer. Well done. Good answer. However, I would have heard that answer thousands and thousands and thousands of times because everyone says that. Yes.
What about if we say because it have a uniqueness alike in order or
But if you're going to say that, what is the uniqueness?
possibly I could probably do some background research on it.
Okay. If you're going to say Bristol is different, if you're going to say it's different, you have to tell me in what way it's different. Let me tell you one of my students who went to Liverpool. Okay? Liverpool University. And this boy had an offer from Liverpool. The question was put down, why do you want to come to Liverpool University? And my student, who is from Malaysia, he went, he's from Botswana. He said in his interview, I want to come to Liverpool because of your tropical medicine center. And then the interviewer said, oh, why? Because he said, well, I'm from Botswana. I'm going to go back to Botswana. I practice in Botswana. And in Botswana, I have to be able to know tropical medicine. And your university offers tropical, you're renowned for tropical medicine, okay? The admission tutor was blown off him and he was like, wow. You know, this boy has really done his research about the university. And then the interviewer said to him, let me challenge you a little bit more. So, why do you think Liverpool offers tropical medicine? I mean, we're in Liverpool in the UK. Why do you think it offers tropical medicine? Anyone knows why Liverpool has a tropical medical center? Anyone knows? No? Want to make a guess? Why Liverpool? Why? Did they just think about tropical medicine just like that, or yes?
It is a port where it exports and imports medicine.
Very good, nearly there. There is a port, yes. And if you look at in the history of Liverpool, there were lots of immigrants coming on to Liverpool using this port, right? And that's why, if you go back years and years ago, they built the tropical medical center to be able to deal with any diseases that were coming from other countries, because there were lots of immigrants coming in using the port, basically. They were coming on to Liverpool, and therefore they needed to know, they needed to learn the medical diseases, and that's why they built a medical tropical institute in Liverpool. So when this interviewer asked my student, why do you think we have a tropical institute in Liverpool? And that's what he said. He talked about the history of Liverpool. You know, and that is fantastic. That's different. That is sort of thing. I mean, to be honest with you, we have a doctor, a GP doctor on site in our college who provides health care for our students. And he graduated from Liverpool, and he runs a medical society. So before this boy went on to his interview, he said to him, if they ask you this question, this is the way you answer. So he was, the interviewer was very impressed with the answer, and he had an offer. I mean, he had an offer because obviously he was very good in other things as well. But I'm just giving an example of how to answer that question. Why the university? So do the research. Don't just say it's unique. If it's going to say unique, how is it unique? If you're going to say it has fantastic facilities, how is it different from other places' facilities? You have to be very, very specific. Research, research, research. Very important, okay? Be prepared to talk about any of the details you put in your personal statement. Be honest. Keep your answers reasonably brief. Know when to stop talking. Okay, there was a girl that came from Hong Kong. No, not from Hong Kong, from Singapore. Another student from Singapore at the interview. And she was asked these questions. And the student kept on going on and on and on and on and on until the admission tutor had to tap. They had to tap on the table so that she gets the message to stop. So eye contact, look at the body language. Very, very important to understand when you have to stop and move on. It's very crucial. Right, look at and answer the interview is speaking to you. If you have 3 panelists, okay, the person who's asking you the question, look at them directly, but move your head from time to time so that you also see the other interviewers. Don't ignore them, but look directly at the person who's asking you the question, but move your head. It's difficult when you have 5 people, okay? That becomes a problem, but normally with 3 you should be okay. Don't feel you have to ask questions at the end. It's fine to say that you have all the information that you need. Don't feel like you have to ask a question at the end, okay? And please don't ask questions like, oh, so what's your accommodation like? You know what they'll say to you? Read the prospectus, go and see. We are from the department, we're not from the central admissions team. We don't know about the accommodation, okay? Don't ask them about accommodation, don't ask them about what are the social activities. They don't know. They're there to teach you. They have no clue what goes on in the accommodation or in the sort of thing. Don't ask them those questions, okay? If you want to ask them about their research, be careful. Make sure you know about their research, because that could come back and bite you. Be enthusiastic even if the university is not your first choice. I had a boy at our college who applied for pharmacy. He already had all his offers, and I think Brighton was his last interview, but he already had all his offers. But his father said, oh, go on, go to Brighton, just for experience, you know, just day young, go to Brighton. He didn't want to go to Brighton. He already had the offer that he wanted. Anyway, he went to Brighton. He sat down. They asked him, why do you want to come to Brighton? His answer was, well, I didn't really want to come, but my father said I should come, and sort of thing. He was rejected. But the point is, be enthusiastic, even if it's not, because you never know. For medicine, it's very easy to get no offers, 0 offers. It's very easy to get 1 offer. What I'm saying, it's very easy to get 0 offers. Okay, you can go from 0 to 4. Yeah, it's very, very easy. It's 0 to 4. So you could get no offers. So please be enthusiastic, even if the university is not your first choice. Okay, just in case, because you may be aiming to Cambridge, but if you don't get to Cambridge, any medical school, all medical schools are good enough. They're very, very difficult to get in. And to be honest with you, you have to decide, is the aim to be a doctor or the aim is the university? Because if you want to go to Cambridge, you can get into classical civilization course. You can apply classical civilization, you can apply for ancient Greek. You don't have to do medicine. But if the aim is to be a doctor, then it shouldn't matter which university you go to. Okay? Be polite and thank the interviewers for seeing you as well. That's very important. Okay, so those are the 6 steps. And then they will add all your scores. And again, if you meet the threshold level, then you will get 2 scenarios. If you meet the threshold level, okay? So the 2 scenarios are, you will get 2 types of envelopes. One is A4 size, and one is a small, what's that, the B5 size. I think it's called B5, the smaller version. One is the A4 and one is that. What do you think the A4 will say? What do you think the B5 will say? What will be in the A4 envelope? Dear student, I'm pleased to inform you that you have been accepted. You have been given a place with this offer, A star, A star, A, and this is your pack. Please read through it, and we hope to see you in September. That's going to be an A4 size. B5 or B4, whatever. Dear student, due to the number of applicants, the increased number of applicants who applied this year, we had very strong competition. And unfortunately, although your application was good, we are unable to make you an offer. Good luck in your studies. Thank you very much. That's what's going to happen. You have 2 different types of envelopes that you will receive if you meet the threshold level. I'm just giving it away, right? So if you get the B4 envelope, don't even open it. There's no point. Although saying that though, these days they send it by email as well. So, but it used to be, in the post you will get the envelopes, but now they'll send you by email, so you can't, there's no way of escaping it. Okay, so that's it. But before we do that, I would like to talk about the type of medical schools and how do you select medical schools. Right, so what medical schools are you? So there are different types of medical schools. You have integrated style of teaching. So you've got to look at different ways of selecting medical school. One is the type of schools and the type of teaching they do. So there's integrated, there's problem-based learning, and there's system-based learning. So what is traditional type of learning? Do we have another board here? Can I borrow that board? Oh, can I use that? So we have traditional type of learning, we have problem-based learning, and we have integrated learning. So what is traditional type of learning? Anyone can tell me? What is a traditional type of learning? Yes?
Textbook.
Textbooks. No. Traditional type of learning, yes. Remembering stuff? No, I'm talking about, okay, teaching method, traditional style of teaching method. What are they? Yes. Experimenting? No, I think you are missing the point here. Okay. What it is? Oh, you don't have to. Are there any markers? Okay. We have different style of teaching. Traditional means lecture-based, okay? So imagine like what you have in lecture. So I'm talking, you You are just listening. You are just listening. You're not interacting. It's just listening and I'm talking. That is lecture-based. Could be boring because sometimes if you have a lecturer who's not very interesting, you have to sit there for hours and hours listening to him talking. Okay, that's traditional based. Then you have problem based. What are problem based style learning? What are they? Yes.
Learning with a scenario is probably some kind of problem where students need to use their own intelligence or some kind of intelligence or knowledge to solve.
Okay, no, the problem-based learning is this. Okay, so instead of going for lectures, okay, I will give you a scenario. So for example, if I said to you, the scenario is Mary, 37 years old, has a 4-year-old son. She discovered that the son had rashes overnight and he has fever, he's a very high temperature, he is sweating, he's also being sick. Mary, who's 37 years old, single mother, she then comes to the hospital with her 4-year-old son, and the doctor's assessment is that he needs to be treated immediately. There are signs of perhaps even meningitis. So that is the scenario. So they'll give you the scenario on a piece of paper, they'll give it to you. Everyone in the lecture room will be given the scenarios. What happens in problem-based learning style learning of teaching is that you will be placed into smaller groups, and then you as students have to go and try to find out about different components about the scenario. So for example, this scenario, the child maybe have meningitis. So you will have to attend the lecture on brain development, on meningitis. So you will have lectures related to that scenario. So that's problem-based learning. It's very interactive. So you're not just sitting there listening to the lecturer. You're actually actively involved in the process. That's what's called problem-based learning. So some universities are problem-based learning, like for example, Plymouth is problem-based learning, completely problem-based learning. You have Exeter, which is problem-based learning. You have places like Hull and York, problem-based learning. Leicester, problem-based learning. So these universities are problem-based learning, which means you will have lectures, but you are mainly learning through interaction. You are interacting with your peers and you are assisted by your tutors in trying to find answers to the scenario. That's what problem-based learning is, okay, which is different to lecture-based. Lecture-based means you're sitting there and you're listening to lectures. Do you see the difference? Have you ever come across problem-based learning? No? Okay. Then the third type of university is integrated. So Bristol University is integrated. That means they combine lecture-based and they combine problem-based learning. Manchester is completely problem-based. So Imperial is traditional. Oxford, Cambridge, traditional. Okay, Southampton, integrated. Bristol, integrated. Hull and York, PBL. So how do you select a medical school? You can look at the teaching style. Because some teaching style might suit you, some might not. I have students who have 5 8 stars, who could have gone to Oxford or Cambridge, who decided that that's not the style they want because they prefer PBL. So they've applied to PBL universities. So you really should apply to the university that will suit your teaching, your learning style. Any questions on that? No? Okay, so how do you select a medical school? You look at the teaching style. And as I said to you, there are 3 types of teaching style. PBL, there is traditional, and there is integrated. I said to you earlier on, at our college, we do a strategy map. We do a strategy map of how we select the right university for the student, so that they will have a better chance of getting in and also enjoying their time at the university as well. So what is teaching style? Next thing, how do you select is location. You can look at the location. of the university. That's also pretty important, where it's based, because you want to spend your 5 years at that university. You want to be at a university that you're going to have fun as well. A third way of selecting a medical school will also be based on course content. So, for example, in fact, I think course content is more important than location. So, for example, what do I mean by course content? After all, medical schools all have to teach the same things. So, what is the difference in the course content? There are differences. For example, Liverpool does not do cadavers. Do you know what cadavers are? Bodies, basically, dissections, okay? They do prototype dissections. That means through computers, okay? They don't do dissections. However, Cardiff does dissection. They use cadavers, okay? So that's course content. Maybe I would like to have that practical element, and therefore I would like to go to Cardiff because Cardiff offers dissection, whereas Liverpool doesn't, okay? And another course content as well is, let's take Oxford, Cambridge for example. They are very, very theoretical because you only get to do practical or clinical in your 3rd year. The first 3 years is very theoretical. So do you want that? Or would you like to be going into clinic straight away from the 1st year? Cardiff offers that, Bristol offers that, Liverpool offers that, clinical experience from the 1st year. Cambridge does not offer that. So do you want that? That's again course content. So you have to look at that aspect as well. Very, very crucial. Okay? So I would say these 3 things are how you would select a medical school: teaching style, course content, location. Okay? Now for the students who are below year 12 students, obviously if you are looking to select to come to the UK and you want to select the school that you would like to go to prepare you for medical application, then you need to select a school that's going to provide you all the assistance that they can, to tick all the boxes as much as possible. And you have to have a strategy. That's very important. And also, what we're doing this year is with Crew 2 as well. We are organizing a study camp program in Thailand, and study camp program is where I'm going to be bringing my teachers in from UK, and they will come here for a week. And the program would be to give you an introduction to what the universities are looking for in all aspects: medical ethics, a personal statement, interview workshops, critical thinking, leadership, teamwork, everything, all those things that the universities are looking for. We will cover that as much as we can. It's very intense. It'll be a 1-week program. So whether you're in year 10, year 9, if you're aspiring to do medicine, then this is a good program for you, or whether you're in year 12. So we'll be training you for BMAT, we'll be training you for UKCAT, we'll be giving you medical ethics scenarios. We are doing that. It's a week-long program, and I believe the dates we haven't confirmed yet. But that program is just to give you an introduction to what to expect, or what you need to be preparing for as well, for your university application. So whether you're in year 10, or whether you're in year 12, it will certainly help you. It'll be run in July, either the 1st week of July or 2nd week. We don't know yet. We haven't confirmed the dates yet, but it'll be running in July. I'm bringing in my tutors. We're running this in various countries. We're doing a program in Hong Kong, we're doing a program in Malaysia, and we're hoping to do one in Thailand as well. So if you're interested, please do speak to Krupong. He can give you the details. But it will be a program where we have designed it to be very intense. It's a 1-week program, and in that week, you'll be learning about personal statement. You'll be learning about interview techniques. You'll be doing medical ethics scenarios. You'll be doing medical scenarios. A style of teaching. We'll be showing you a different style of teaching so that you know how to select a medical school. We'll be giving you BMAT and UKCAT classes. And we'll be also doing critical thinking sessions as well, to get you to think outside the box, because you never know what questions they can ask you at the interview. So it's very subject specific to medicine. So if you are interested, please do see Krupong, and I'm sure he'll give you the information on that as well. We also run a summer school program in Cardiff. So if you want to come to Cardiff, it's an Oxbridge called, it's the same program, Oxbridge Preparation Program, which is a similar program that we're running in Thailand. But in Thailand we're only doing it for 1 week, in Cardiff it's for 4 weeks. So if you're interested in that, you could come to that as well. And that's for a 4 weeks program. And that would comprise everything I said, but obviously over the 4 weeks so you'll get more out of it. 1 week is obviously very short, but we're hoping that in that 1 week it'll be intense and you'll get something out of it as well. Yes?
Do you have a program for the engineer course? The engineer.
Yeah, the Oxbridge Preparation, the program is called Oxbridge Preparation Program, and it's specific to whatever course you want to do, whether you want to do medicine, whether you want to do engineering, whether you want to do law. It's very specific to whatever you want to do.
This is 1 week.
That's the 1 week in Thailand. We do the same thing in UK for 4 weeks, and that is basically, obviously that's more breadth because we have more time, yeah. And we do that for engineers as well, and lawyers and so on. We do all that. And the beauty of the summer school program and the study camp that's running in Thailand is that we run by the same teachers who teach our students. It's the same experts, the same people who get our kids to top university, who get those fantastic results. They're taught by the same people. So we're not bringing people from outside to run this course. It's exactly using the same teachers. And the reason why I'm doing that is because it'll be good for my teachers because they get to see Thailand as well and Hong Kong. And it'll be nice for them. It's an incentive for them to travel. So we all win. Everyone wins. Any questions? Any questions? So are we all experts now? Yes, young
So
man.
about the interview question, what type of scenario are we expecting? I mean, what comes up most?
What comes out the most?
Yes.
So what questions will they ask the most?
I mean, along what line?
Okay, well, if you're asking me what is the most common question they will ask, it's really just one. Why medicine? Everything else is subjective. Everything else will change according to the person who's interviewing you. And sometimes it depends on their mood as well. I mean, I've had a doctor who came who was very annoyed because he didn't get tea or coffee. So he was very, very annoyed. He was in a very annoyed mood, you know. But his questions were fine. It was just that he was annoyed, you know, because he didn't get any tea or coffee. The university didn't provide it, so he was very annoyed throughout the whole process. So why medicine is the most common question. Apart from that, it could be anything. The questions could be, one question that was asked was, if your house caught a fire, what would be the, if you could only take one thing, what would you take? So your house catches fire, if you could only take one thing with you, what would that be? Your house catches fire, if you could take one thing with you, what would it be?
If the one thing in particular involving the person.
Sorry, can you?
I mean, if it's the one thing in particular involving the person.
Involving the person, yes, because it's his or her house caught fire. So if your house catches fire, what would be the one thing you would bring with you? That's one question they asked at the interview.
But is that depend on what the house have?
Well, most houses have the same things, right?
I mean, most of the money could be saved in the bank. Possibly a computer have backup somewhere, and
You will save your computer.
not really. I mean, just scenario case. And
Okay.
it was sometime I probably bring your phone, cut out and call the
You will save your phone? You will take your phone or?
just to get out and call and ambulance is required.
Okay, yes.
Maybe that the electrical mount having something went out of the house for some reason that the house might be deserted, so you might just take object.
You might take objects. So if you can take one object, what would be the object? Human being. Okay, right. So imagine there's no human being in the house. So what would you take? Hard question.
You call yourself and the telephone call. possibly emergency service anytime, or possibly try to limit the fire.
Okay, okay. Well, it depends. There's no right or wrong answer to this question. But somebody answered, I will take my book with me. And I just thought, oh, Michael, why would you say that? Why would you take a book if your house got... I mean, be original. Don't try to impress the admissions tutor. They're not stupid. They're very clever people, okay? So when you answer the question and say, I will take a book, who are you trying to impress? I mean, you know, why would you take a book? Who would take a book if a house catches fire? I mean, don't do that, okay? That's just silly, right? Another question that was asked as well is, do you think doctors at the moment, yes, sorry?
What was the correct answer to that question?
There is no correct answer, but I would say that the best answer would be, take your phone, because you can make a call when you get out. That's what the young man said. That's what I would say the best answer. Because everything else, your house is on fire. What can you do? You save yourself, don't you? Right? And you leave everything else and perhaps take the phone so you can make a call, isn't it? That's the only thing. But it's up to you. You can take anything you want. It's just, they want to see your thought process. That's all they want to see. Another question that's asked is, if you could invite 3 people, dead or alive, to your interview, who would you invite and why? If you could invite 3 people, dead or alive, who would you invite and why? Okay, I'll give you one student answer, right? One student who gave me this answer, and I really wanted to laugh, but I couldn't because I wanted to be very professional at this interview. But the answer she gave, she was from Hong Kong, yes. She said, I will invite, no, she is a he, sorry. I will invite Cristiano Ronaldo, you know the football player? Ronaldo, right? I will invite Nelson Mandela, the second person, and the third person I'll invite my mother. So then I said to her, because I was thinking, okay, so you have a sports person, you have Nelson Mandela and your mother. What would you be discussing between the 3 of them, right? What would they discuss, okay? And she said, that's the point, they will not discuss anything. And we can all sit down and have a quiet dinner. I thought that was very original. I just wanted to laugh, but I couldn't because you have to be professional in this. But it was an interesting answer. It was an interesting answer. It was different. It was original, you know. I'm not sure whether it's correct, whether it's right, but it was original. I don't think that was what they were looking for. They were looking for something that, you know, discussion. So if you're going to invite people to dinner, what will they talk about and stuff, you know? So having Ronaldo and Nelson Mandela and her mother, I didn't think how it would work. Yes.
Well, if that question arises, I think that the answer I give might be either I go up or I go down.
You go up or go down? What do you mean by that?
The answer I give would probably either impress the examiner or they probably keep me out of the room.
Yes, your answers could either impress or not impress. That is true, but that would be for any answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the 3A thinking is not exactly what they might expect.
Yes, well, there's no expectation, there's no right or wrong answer, guys, okay? Another question they would ask is, if I gave you £6 million, if you were given £6 million by the NHS, which is, you'll be lucky if you get that amount. If I give you £6 million and you are the director of your hospital, where would you invest? How would you invest the money? Why do you think they would ask that question? Why do you think that is? Yes.
You asked about, you probably investigate the guy who will answer this question personality, what is on his mind?
No, it's not that, my dear, no. It's because NHS is in the red zone, right? NHS has financial issues, has management issues, has all the issues you can think of. At the same time, NHS is the best system in terms of providing healthcare for everybody. It's very equal, very fair, but it has its problem. It's the biggest and largest
organization that employs so many people. Okay, thousands and thousands of people are employed under the NHS system, so obviously you will have problems. But saying that they want to identify if you were the manager of your director of your hospital, how would you deal with that amount of money? Where would you invest? What would you do with it? That's another question they will ask as well. Another one they will ask as well, would you think the government should spend money on sending men to moon, or should we spend more money on cancer research? So that's another question they'll ask as well. They could ask. Yeah? So there's lots of different questions they can ask. They can also ask very scientific, very technology, very specific questions. Oxford and Cambridge are very well known to ask very detailed scientific questions. Okay? So for example, if I asked you a question about evolution, basically, they can ask you about natural selection, about evolution, nothing to do with medicine, to do with biology, but they can ask you about evolution, they can ask you about natural selection as well. Okay? Yeah? So those are the kind of questions they can ask you. So, just to summarize, we've talked about everything about, in terms of applying to a top university, applying for medicine. I've given you examples of interviews, questions, or what they can ask you. It ranges from anything to everything, okay? It ranges from medical ethics, it ranges to teamwork, it ranges to empathy. Empathy is another thing, it's very important, empathy. So if I ask you this question, you are performing in a play. You just found out that your friend who's performing with you, her father had an accident. Would you tell your friend? You tell your friend? Your friend is just about to go on a play. The biggest play of her life. Her father just had an accident. You just found out. Would you go and tell your friend? Or would you wait for her to finish the play? And then inform her. Now, is there a right or wrong answer to this? Not really. They just want to assess how you think. What is your thought process? Okay, that's very, very important. I go through these scenarios every week with my students, and I know it's confusing, I know it's hard. It's not easy because there's no formula, there's no x plus y gives you z, you have to think about these things, and that's hard. Thinking is difficult. It gives people headache, right? Who said that to me today? Somebody said to me, thinking gives him headache. But those are the things you have to bear in mind, that you have to take into consideration. So we've gone through interviews, we've gone through personal statement, we've gone through the things that universities are looking for. And like I said to you, you need to have a good strategy to get into medical school. You really do. If you really want to do medicine, like I said to you at the beginning, it's a calling. It's got to be from the heart, but you have to have a good strategy. Yes?
Can you ask the interviewer?
Can I ask the interviewer?
After they say that, can we ask them?
What would you ask them?
Like something about the question they asked them?
No, don't. Don't do that. Never do that. Never ask the interviewers to explain the question after the interview has already finished. So when they said to you, oh, we're finished now, and then you turn around to them and say, oh, can you please go back to that question? You can't do that. It's not a lesson. It's not a chemistry or biology lesson. You can't just go back to it. It's done. It's finished. Just leave the room. Smile and leave the room. Yes?
Does it matter how long you take to finish your IGs or A-levels? As in, if you take 2 years and then you're getting B's and A's, and compared to a person who takes 3 years but getting all A stars, is there a difference?
Okay. So somebody has done 2 years
Not G,
and getting B's and B's.
A and B's.
Well, B's won't count at all. So they're not going to get it.
But is there an effect if you're taking 3 years to do an IG course, but you're achieving A stars?
Yeah, but why was the reason to take 3 years? Was there any particular reason why it was taking 3 years?
If they're they're sure that they can achieve more if they push it off for another month or 2 and then do the test rather than do it now.
Okay, but universities would they would want you to complete your A-levels within the normal time frame. So that's 2 years, okay? Unless there are extenuating circumstances to why it has led you to do it over 3 years, then they will take that into account. Because if a circumstance that has occurred and it's because maybe sometimes it's financial reasons, maybe sometimes to do with health reasons, as long as you haven't done any exams that can demonstrate that you were trying to improve your results. Do you see what I'm saying? So if let's say you've done it 1 year and you didn't do well, and therefore you reset, and that's why you take 3 years, that's no, that's bad. But if you've taken 3 years because of extenuating circumstances and there are no results, as in there are no, it's not because of you were trying to improve your results, that's fine. That's fine. But if you're asking me to compare somebody who had 2 A's and a B and somebody who had 3 A stars after 3 years, that's a very hard comparison because I need to know why is the reason the person took 3 years. What is the extenuating circumstances? But to be honest with you, the person who had 2 A's and a B or the B grades, they're not going to get in anyway. Because there's so many other applicants. Yeah? Any other questions? Any other questions? Yes.
About color blindness. If you're
Color
color
blindness,
blind,
yes.
does medical school immediately reject you?
No. UK is one of the countries, I have to say, coming from Malaysia myself, UK is very good in terms of meeting requirements, individual requirements. Whatever the scenario is, whether you're colorblind, whether there's any other circumstances, they're very good at providing you all the facilities and the resources you need. Britain is brilliant for that, I have to say, compared to other countries. So colorblindness is not the wrong, they will not reject you on that basis. Definitely not. Any other questions? In fact, one of our students in our school, this is a couple of years ago, she is partially, she's not partially, she's partially blind basically, and she had no problems in terms of her university application. Yes?
If I were to make a strategy map for myself, how could I make one?
Sorry?
A strategy map, the one that you mentioned earlier.
Okay, and the strategy map is not just done over one night, it's over a series of the whole long 1 year. So normally what we tend to do is we tend to work with the students on a weekly basis and we build a strategy map over the whole year. So it's not just an overnight thing. How would you do this yourself? I think the best thing you can do is do research and find out where you want to go and what you want to do. But it's very hard to do it without advice, basically. But it's not something we do overnight. We do it throughout the year. Because don't forget that as a school, we provide training in UKCAT, we provide training in BMAT, we do the healthcare diploma, we do the Cambridge Pre-U diploma, we provide work experience. So we do the whole package. So that's why we do the map strategy from day one. And then we can decide which university they should apply to, how should they get the grades, how should they get the UKCAT and BMAT. So the best thing in your case would be to do lots and lots of research. Yeah? Any other questions? Any other questions? Why do you look so serious? You know, medical students, they have the most, they work the hardest and they have the most fun. Seriously, they really, really enjoy because they work hard and they play hard. Okay? I have not seen a group of medical students who play hard and as well as work hard. They are fantastic. They do everything. So you don't have to look serious. It's not all gloomy. You know, life is very interesting. It's a lot of fun. You want to do a course that is a calling. It's of course going to come from the heart. So it's very, very important. How many of you already know what you want to specialize in? How many of you already know that? No? Good. That's how it should be. If any of you said to me, I want to do plastic surgery, I want to do this, I think that's a bit too early to make that judgment. And never write in your personal statement that you want to be a plastic surgeon, even if you really want to know that, because the person who's interviewing you, A, could know a lot about that course, that field, that you don't want to do his or her specialty. So never write your personal statement down, because you have to say that you want to explore, you want to learn, and then you will decide your specialty later on. Any questions? Parents, do you have any questions? No. Yes.
In terms of university as well, what type of people are the examiner looking for? I mean, what type?
What type of students are
The
they
interviewer looking for as a whole.
as a whole? I've just gone through the whole thing, okay? As a whole, what type of students universities are looking for? They are looking for your academics, they're looking at your supercurricular activities, they're looking at your extracurricular activities, they're looking at your personal statement, your reference, your interview skills, everything. Basically, you have to be perfect.
I mean, which type of people or personalities?
Which type of people? Which type of people they will be looking for, is it? I can't hear you, sorry, I'm a bit deaf.
I mean, the type of personality.
The type of personality, oh right, okay, right. Okay, you don't have to be outspoken. Bye guys. See you in September. Yeah. You don't have to be outspoken. You don't have to be, any personality, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be somebody who's boisterous or somebody who speaks very loud or something. No, you can be yourself. They don't expect you to, you don't have to have a certain attitude, a certain personality to be a doctor. You can be a quiet person or you can be a loud person. It doesn't really matter. There's no criteria. We just want somebody who's loud, somebody who's that. No, they just want somebody who will show the skills, who will demonstrate the skills, demonstrate the passion. So there's no personality, there's no type. Okay? Any questions? Anyone? Because there's only this young man who's asked me questions. Anyone else would like to ask any questions? I'm not saying you can't carry on asking questions, but I'm just saying anyone else? You have no questions whatsoever. So you know in your head what to do with regards to applying to medicine. Yes?
Getting medicine, but in that year, you will reject and you will offer only for the last choice,
Yeah.
by for some period, and next year you want to apply again.
Yeah.
To the medicine.
Yeah.
Is it going to make your application? No.
Okay. So if you were rejected and you want to reapply the following year to medical school, that's fine. You can reapply, but you will have to change your personal statement. And to be honest with you, the first thing you should do is diagnose what went wrong. Because if you don't diagnose what went wrong, you reapply again, you probably will get rejected again.
But you have to say that you reapply. Or
You will have to put your the same UCAS number, so they will know you're reapplying. They will know that. But there's no harm in reapplying as long as there is a perfect reason. If it's to do with academic results, if you didn't get the results first time round and you reapply, they will reject you. It's to do with academic. If it's to do with the fact that you had academic results, you went for your interview, but you didn't pass your interview, that's okay. But if it's to do with academic, there's very slim chances. From my experience, it's very rare. Very rare. Any other question? No? Do you think it's achievable? Do you think you can work towards this? The students in the room? The boys and the girls in the room? Do you think it's achievable? Do you think you can do this? I can't hear you. Do you think you can do this? The boys and the girls in the room, do you think you can achieve this? It's either a yes or a no. Yes, well done. Guys, I can't hear you. Do you think you can do this? Oh, come on, be positive. Where is the positivity? Where is the positivity gone? Your parents are so positive, they're going to push you when you go home tonight. They're going to say, you start working right now. That's or no? Answer me. This girl has answered yes. The rest of you?
Yes.
I can't hear you. I'm deaf.
Yes.
I still can't hear you.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I ask one more time, right? Yeah? Can you do this?
Yes.
Oh. I come all the way from UK and I get a very meek yes. One more time. Can you do this?
Yes.
Yes.
That's better. We're getting there, right? Have confidence, guys. Believe in yourself. Honestly, you can achieve this. It's not impossible. You just have to have a strategy. You have to work very, very hard. That's very important. Okay? How many of you read the news? How many of you read the news? Okay, that's a stupid question. How many of you check your Facebook? How many of you go on Facebook? How many of you go on Facebook? Put your hands up. Hands up, straight up. I asked a very silly question about the news. How many of you check Facebook? Okay. How many of you go on Twitter? Twitter. Okay. How many of you go on Skype? Talk to your friends. Skype. Ah, well done. Excellent. Okay. What else? How many of you generally go on social media networks? Any network, any social media network. Put your hands up. Any social media network. Put your hands up. Right up. This is very important. It's very, very important. How many of you? Well done. Excellent work. So almost everybody here, the students, you all go on social media. Okay. Now, let me ask you another question then. How many of you read the news? Or watch the news or read the newspaper? How many of you? Sometimes. Sometimes. Okay, right. The amount of time you spend on Facebook or Twitter or social media networks, if you can spend a fraction of that time on reading the newspaper or watching the news or reading about reading magazines such as a New Scientist or medical journals, really it will make a huge difference in your life. If you can just spend a fraction of your social media networking on this, it will make a huge, huge difference in your life. Because if you want to be amongst intellectuals, you have to talk the talk, you have to walk the walk as well. But you can't just talk the talk, you have to walk the walk. And that is doing everything you possibly can to increase your knowledge and to increase your understanding, awareness of what is happening around you. And the only way to do it is 3 words. Read, read, and read. That's the only way to do it. Not text, text, and text. Okay? Right? So, yeah, so social media networks are not healthy in that sense. It's good in the sense that you can discuss issues, but most of the time, social networks are discussing issues which is pointless, you know. So I hope, like I said, I hope you will take part in the study camp program. For those of you who want to take part in the program, it will be a good insight into what to expect. And it will be good for the year 12s as well. It will be good preparation for you in terms of applying for medical school. So those of you who want to come to the study camp program, or if you want to come to our summer school program as well, that's in Cardiff. And if you are thinking of applying to the school, obviously please speak to Mr. Krupon. He can help you in your application. We are highly selective. We only select the best students in terms of academic results. So, because like I said, we are number 1 in the UK, so we are going to be selective in that respect. So if you're looking to apply, so any of our courses, whether it's study camp, whether it's summer school, or whether it's our A-level program, please do speak to Mr. Krupon. But if there's any questions about anything, please ask now. Please? No questions at all? This young man is thinking of a question. Just for the sake of asking a question.
By the way, you mentioned at Oxford, you're looking for the super extracurricular activities.
Supercurricular activities. Right, supercurricular activities are activities that can demonstrate your passion. You have to be able to demonstrate the evidence that you know that you really want to do medicine. So whether it's in the form of work experience, whether it's in the form of, we do in our college, Cambridge Pre-U diploma, which is sort of getting them to think outside the box, getting them to think laterally. We also run a healthcare diploma to basically help the students to learn all the extra technologies and stuff like that. So it's anything that will demonstrate passion. So we get our students to take part in competitions, like biology Olympiads. We do lots of different things in terms of work experience, science and health events. So those are all super curricular activities.
The healthcare diploma, is it online?
No. It's run by our former students. They come back on a weekly basis and they teach our current students tutoring, practical skills. They teach them technologies such as diabetes, heart disease. It's like a whole diploma program which is run by our former students and also by our doctor as well. So it's a whole package that they put together, and that is a super curricular activity because that is enhancing your understanding of medicine. So if you're currently doing A-level, what I would suggest you to do is, the only way you could do, I suppose, to increase your super curricular activities are through reading the journals, reading the magazines that's related to medicine. That's what we do in our college as well. Every week they have to read the British Medical Journal, and then they have to present it as well. Yes.
This additional reading would be a part of your personal statement under the supercurricular.
There's no heading. There's no such thing as extracurricular activities and supercurricular activities. Everything is written as one. But when they read your personal statement, they'll be able to gauge how much extra you've done and how much super you've done. And they'll be able to gauge in your interview as well. That's why as a school, as a college, we try to make sure that we tick all the boxes and that we cover all eventualities as much as we can. After that is also luck. It also depends on luck as well. But we try to do everything we possibly could. Any other questions? No? Everyone's so quiet. Maybe I should be asking some questions to the student. Would you like me to ask you questions? Huh?
Just,
You have a question now?
yes, you can ask questions.
Wait, I can ask you questions. Okay, no, I think I will leave it there.